I guess I'm just going to kind of give a quick overview of what we've got going on in Michigan right now. Our current program is running at about $92 million. We include in our capital preventive maintenance program all the fixes that you see. So our CPM program goes from crack sealing, chip sealing, all the way up to 1.5 inch to 2 inch overlays and mill and fills. Sometimes that's kind of different, I notice, in a lot of the states. A basic overview of our pavement management system. Every other year we collect half the network. Well, we collect the entire network every 2 years. So they do half one year, half the next year. And when they do the data collection, they collect the distress index, the International Roughness Index, IRI, rut and faulting data. We also do PACER ratings, but PACER ratings they kind of come into play, but not as much as this other data does. The DI, when it's completed, is converted into remaining service life through a large process. We have an area that does that. And then those RSLs are used in our road quality forecasting system to predict the future pavement condition. Right now, we're on a very large downswing where everything will be very poor very soon. From there, the regions use that RQFS to develop a strategy and a mix of fixes ranging from reconstruction all the way down to pavement preservation. And that strategy is then applied the next year when they do project selections. As far as our capital preventive maintenance program, the regions use the manual that we created, and that kind of gives guidelines on minimums and maximums for the DI, the IRI, rut and faulting data, and RSL. So they use that guide to determine what projects would be appropriate based on the pavement condition data that they have. As far as successful treatments, just like everyone has said, we've had good luck with some, or we have had good luck with all of them at various times. We've also had times where things haven't gone quite as planned. Our northern regions tend to have a lot more asphalt roads, full depth asphalt roads, so a lot of the surface treatments work really well for them. They also have better soils and a lot lower traffic, so like chip seals are very beneficial up north. Our southern regions, they tend to do a lot more of the thin overlays due to the fact that there's a lot of composite pavements and less desirable soils and a lot of traffic volume, so they kind of want to get in, get out, and move on. I mean, that obviously a overlay takes a little bit longer, but they feel like if they do that, they won't come back as frequently in the coming years. Recently, we've had a few problems with a couple of treatments. In 2014, we've had some serious issues with double chip seals with fog. Very severe flushing is happening, and we're getting friction numbers in the single digits, and so we're kind of having an issue with that. A couple of them have had to have warranty repairs done on them, and we've gone back and done microsurfacing on top to kind of stop the bleeding. We're still monitoring the friction levels on those roads just to make sure that we're not creating a safety hazard, and also we're trying to figure out why it's happening. We had done some double chips with fog in previous years and had great luck with it, so we kind of encouraged it, and then we did more, and now we have this flushing issue. So we're still working on that one, and right now we're not putting fogs on any double chip seals until we can figure out what was going on. The other question that keeps coming up is a couple years ago, FHWA had concerns with our double chips, or with our double chip seals and our centerline rumbles, and felt that once we did a double chip seal, the rumble was no longer adequate, or the depth of it was no longer adequate. So we modified our spec to basically have the base course of the center of the double chip seal go up to the rumbles, and then have the top course go over top of the rumbles, and that seems to have helped. But now, like I said, in our northern regions where we do a lot of surface seals and they get great benefit out of them, we're doing multiple single chip seals, and so they're wondering what they should be doing as far as getting those rumbles back in. We're kind of at a loss. I mean, the one thing that has come up is to run microsurfacing down the middle, recut them in, and then do the chip seal, which will work. you start bringing in multiple contractors, it always causes issues. So if anyone has any suggestions or anything that they do, I'd be happy to hear about those. We also have an emerging technology program, and there's a couple things we've been trying recently. I want to say 2014 was the first time we tried putting some concrete penetrating sealers on some of our joints. So that's obviously just getting started, and we're not to the point of actually knowing if that's doing any good or what the results are. But so far we like what's going on with it, and we have several people wanting to do more of it. We also are doing non-cementitious partial depth pavement repairs on concrete, and that's kind of something that we've started doing because we have a heavy emphasis on maintaining traffic in Michigan, and a lot of our concrete roadways are down in the Metro Detroit area where the traffic volumes are very high. So we needed something that we can get in and get out. We were doing partial depth repairs a while back, and they were not going well. So we had kind of gone to just doing full depth pavement repairs. This non-cementitious product kind of offers something that we can get in quickly, it cures fast, and it adheres to the existing concrete. That was kind of our problem with the partial depths before. They just pop right back out. We've done a couple projects in the last 2 years, well, one last year and another one this year where we're doing the microsurfacing for longitudinal joint repairs. Again, we're still analyzing what the results are. The project that's going this year, and I think it starts soon, is doing a couple of different things to pre-treat before we put the micro down the longitudinal joint. So I know that's another thing that a lot of my regions are very interested in, because they have a lot of roads where the only problem is that longitudinal joint. The other thing that we've been trying, last year was the first time we did the micro milling, and we did a microsurface. We did a couple of them. So as Minnesota had talked about before, the micro milling is I think it's 3/16 tooth spacing is what's in our spec. And it just really provides a very smooth surface so the micro can compensate that texture. We also used it, the one we did downstate, we allowed them to drive on the milled surface. That's not something we regularly do in Michigan. For whatever reason, we kind of stopped letting anybody drive on milled surfaces. But on that project, we allowed them to mill the entire project, and I think it's an 8-mile project on a 2-lane road. We let them mill the whole thing and then come back and micro the whole thing. And they did it in it was maybe 2 weeks total for the whole process, for the whole 8 miles. And I drove on the milled surface, and it was very smooth. You could hardly tell that you were driving on a milled surface. So those are the things that's going on. Any questions? Okay. All right.